Hi, my name is Judy Ochollah. Welcome to Sheria, a platform that helps to educate the common mwananchi about the law, to equip and empower you.
Hi, my name is Maina, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, practicing here in Nairobi. Today we're going to learn about 5 things: why you should know the law, what is the law, how you can access the law, how you can put in practice the law, or rather, how will the law help you?
Why you should know the law? 1, remember, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more power you gain. Secondly, the law states that ignorance of the law is no defense. So even if you don't know how the law or what the law applies, you're putting yourself in danger. On a normal basis, you interact with the law whether you know it or not. For example, you're in a chama or you're in employment, you're actually governed by the law. There are basics in the law that you should know. If you're drafting this contract, what are the do's? What are the don'ts? What are you looking out for? So those are some of the reasons why you should know the law.
I also feel it's important for one to learn the law just to protect themselves. There are so many people out there looking to just get some money from you. Some of them are basically form part of the legal system. So in order to protect yourself, you need to know, for instance, do you even have a case? How will you know if you have a case if you do not know the law that applies to your particular situation? So in order to protect yourself from losing money and wasting your time, I feel it's important to know the law. Also, there are some things you can do for yourself without seeking any legal advice, or rather seeking any legal help, especially when you do not have the finances to cater for it. So when you do get the time, and please join us here always, it's important to know the law.
So I think we should start with the basics, Mary, with what is the law? And I'm getting my definition of what the law is from the Collins English Dictionary, and then you'll help us break it down a little bit. All right, so I'll read. So it defines law as a system of rules that a society or government develops in order to deal with crime, business agreements, and social relationships. Then you can also use the law to refer to the people who work in a system. So please break it down for us.
My understanding of the law, first of all, it's very simple. These are just rules that control your behavior. What's right, what's wrong. So in my experience, we really can't define or place the law in separate ways. However, I think the simplest way is there's criminal law and there's civil law. Now in Kenya, our legal system is based on a few things. The first thing is it relies on statutory law. Statutory law
comes from the word statute. So I'm sure you've had a lot of statutes being thrown around and you just don't know that it's the statute. So for example, the criminal system is governed by the Penal Code. The civil system is governed by the Civil Procedure Act. All this, by the way, is readily available and you can just get it from Dr. Google, of course. So that's an example of a statute. But the bare minimum statute you should know as a citizen of Kenya is the Constitution. It's the supreme law of the land, and it's the ultimate law of the land.
The second thing is the customary law. Now, we all come from a particular tribe, to say. So in each of our individual tribes, we have our customs, the customs we follow, and there are customary laws, there are customary practices that come in and form part of the customary law. And we find that in instances of marriage and family law. So any customary law that does not contradict the Constitution is applicable. So that's one of the laws.
Another law, I'm sure you've heard of Islam. Islam law is recognized as a source of law in Kenya as long as it does not contravene the Constitution or the rights or the human rights.
We also have common English law. Now these are basically the decisions that were made in the common law courts, or rather the English courts that came in, and also the common practices of the English that came in and became the common practice here in Kenya. For instance, the decisions that were made, these are called, I'm sure you've heard someone say legal precedent. Those are the court decisions that have to be followed. For instance, if the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in Kenya, makes a decision, all the other courts that fall under the Supreme Court have to make a decision according to the decision that was made to the Supreme Court. I hope that's understood.
Yeah, so where can you get all this information? Where can you get the law? One, there's government printers in CPT town. where you can get just at a small fee any law that is governing Kenya. Secondly, you don't have to pay Kenya Law Resource Center. It will give you all information, all statutes, all cases that have been decided to help you navigate the legal system. So those are some of the free, easily accessible sources of law in Kenya.
You can also go to Kenya Law Reports. Kenya Law Reports basically has everything she has said and then some. So for instance, you have the statutes, like she has said, you'll find all the statutes that cover basically every single thing. So you'll also find the bills, those that are currently in Parliament. You'll also find the bills that are draft bills that have not yet been introduced into the Parliament. You'll also find the treaties, which is another law that is accepted under our Constitution.
A treaty is an international agreement that is binding to a lot of countries. So as Kenya, we subscribe to a treaty because our Constitution allows us to enter into this treaty, some sort of a human rights treaty. So we have simply told you what the law is, where you can get the law, how it will be of benefit. We are looking to cover this and so much more in our coming episodes. Thank you so much, and like, comment, share, and subscribe for more information.